And we want to talk about the presence of Border Patrol here in Charlotte. And I can say not just here in Charlotte, but also now we're getting reports in Raleigh. We'll stick here in Charlotte. So the Department of Homeland Security has said the operation of Charlotte's Web is to, quote, target criminal illegal aliens terrorizing Americans. That's what they said. And they're doing these operations here in North Carolina. But during the agency's ongoing surge in Chicago, a court filing shows hundreds detained there are not considered high public safety risk. WCNC Charlotte's Nate Morabito joins us here in studio. So Nate, you were taking a look at the records. You were going through this. This story aired yesterday evening. What were you able to find out?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of what we want to figure out here in Charlotte could be based on what has happened in other places. Mm-hmm. And so we know they spent a significant amount of time Border Patrol in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And I knew there was a class action lawsuit taking place there, pushing for the release of many of these people who have been detained, mm-hmm. accusing them essentially of arresting them improperly. And that's what a judge ruled as well and said they need to be released. Well, that's going to be appealed. But throughout all of this back and forth, there was a record that had to be produced. Mm-hmm. By the Department of Homeland Security, in which it showed in the first several weeks of Operation Midwest Blitz, something like 600 plus people detained. Mm-hmm. And in that record, it said what their risk value was, what their classification was. If they were to be released today, what would be the risk to the community? And when you look at that sheet, it's several pages. There are 16 names that are highlighted in red, considered a high public mm-hmm. safety risk, mm-hmm. maybe a national terror risk, one of them, maybe because of their past crimes or arrests rising to that level. The rest of those people were either considered low or medium risk. And I think that that's something that's been talked a lot about over these last few days. Mm-hmm. Is this agency looking for violent criminals, mm-hmm. or is it looking for whoever they can find? And actually, a short time ago, I saw a post on X by the chief of Border Patrol who said basically they're targeting their enforcement for violent criminals. But they are sworn and they've taken an oath to mm-hmm. enforce the laws of this country. And if they come across someone who they believe is here illegally, they will detain them as well. And I've been looking through some of the numbers that the Department of Homeland Security put out yesterday related to the first couple days here in Charlotte. More than 130 people detained. 44 of those, they say, had criminal records that included aggravated assault, mm-hmm. assault with a dangerous weapon, assault on a police officer, battery, driving under the influence, hit and run, and there were 2 known gang members taken into custody as well. So that's 44 out of more than 130 had a notable mm-hmm. criminal history. About 11 so far have been named on the Department of Homeland Security's website. Yeah. But that's something that we're all kind of waiting for. Who are these people? What are their backgrounds? And I think that there's an interesting situation here because the government has said its desired outcome mm-hmm. is this, to take violent criminals off the street who are terrorizing our communities. What will the end result be? Will they accomplish that? Mm-hmm. Will they accomplish that while at the same time taking others out of the country? And the argument would be, from their perspective, is these people are here illegally. If we come across them, we will detain and remove them, which may not be the initial mission, the right. stated mission, but in some ways maybe it's collateral damage as they are looking through our communities.
And just to reiterate, look, our goal, according to the Department of Homeland Security, Border Patrol, hey, our goal is to get violent criminals out of the country, but if we come across somebody who, the status is unclear, they're not supposed to be here, we're going to take them out, even if they're not violent criminals.
Yes.
Okay.
That's kind of the message that I'm hearing.
I just want to reiterate, yeah.
And I think if you notice yesterday, especially, it became more prevalent. A lot of politicians, Democratic mm-hmm. politicians, were starting to say, we don't want violent criminals here. We're mm-hmm. all in support of you taking violent criminals away.
Stein said that, yeah.
Yep, I believe Congresswoman Alma Adams mm-hmm. said that as well. Mm-hmm. And essentially what's happening, though, is while they do that, and you can look at the numbers and come up with your own conclusion if it's enough, if it's too much, if it's too little, mm-hmm. they are also finding additional people.
Yeah.
And in Chicago, there was this lawsuit, as I mentioned, and I had the chance to talk with Mark Fleming yesterday, who's with a organization up there that's an advocacy group. And they are basically pushing for the fair treatment of anybody that's coming into contact with ICE or Border Control. And he told me, based on their court case, based on the records they've received, he believes they have a playbook. And he believes the same playbook will play out here. Carlene, can we take a listen to that?
This has been the playbook from day one. They have been demonizing immigrants as the worst of the worst, and the reality is quite the opposite. These are folks that generally have had long-standing ties here in Chicago, have families, have been here decades, have businesses, have employees who are relying on them, have homes that have really, frankly, just been torn apart and terrorized.
And so I wanted to read the post, if I could, that I saw in X a little while ago from Chief Michael W. Banks, who's the chief of Border Patrol. He said, and this followed the secretary's kind of comments about targeting criminal illegal aliens. Claims that we are profiling and grabbing any illegal alien off the streets are completely false. Through targeted investigations, we are ensuring we locate, arrest, and deport the worst of the worst criminal aliens. However, we have an oath to enforce our nation's laws, and any illegal alien we encounter during these operations will also be arrested.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that message has really gotten out clearly to people.
No. And again, we mentioned this earlier. Meg was here verifying some stuff surrounding Border Patrol. There's a lot of stuff out there on the internet, information, and it's not exactly clear. I don't think folks know that at all, to your point, Nate.
Well, hopefully we're kind of explaining that now, too, because, the people that support this operation, beyond just the criminal element, say that if you are here in this country illegally, you are breaking the law, you are a criminal, and you don't belong here. Then you have another level of people that might say, well, we just want the violent criminals out of the street. And then you may have the whole other side that we don't want you to take anybody out, right? So it's been very difficult to kind of cut through all of that to find out exactly what is happening here. And I think that we've heard a lot of talk leading up to the visit here in Charlotte. What we want to see now are records, and I've already put requests in to figure out, give me the names of everyone that you've taken into custody.
Because we're just getting pictures on X.
Initially, we just got pictures.
Initially, yes.
Now we have some names to go with some of those pictures, but we're talking about 11 names and pictures out of more than 130 people.
Correct.
So it's kind of hard to draw conclusions and to fully understand the depth of this operation without that information. And so I think that's what we're kind of waiting on right now. And I'm talking to people as well that have questions about some of the way things have gone down, and we're being very careful and mindful and trying to find the records one way or the other to make sure we are accurate in our reporting.
Yeah.
We do not want to be inflammatory. We just want to tell you the truth about what's happening in here, and it's been very difficult. I think because this is so emotionally charged. This is personal for a lot of people. The social media, all the videos, while they have helped, they also spread quickly.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we are the people that kind of are the gatekeepers of holding the government accountable and finding out what the truth is and what is fiction here. And so that doesn't happen as quick as people like either.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we live in a day and age where you post one video, like you said, it blows up, and people kind of draw conclusions from that. And I do want to ask, I have one question regarding, because we got the report this morning about operations moving to the Triangle, the Raleigh-Durham area. Are you tracking whenever those numbers, whenever we get information out of there? I know that's not our area. Are you tracking any of that as well?
Well, I mean, I'd certainly like to start seeing them as they come in, and that is something that I think as a state I will be interested in as well. How many days are they going to spend up there? How many people are they going to find up there? And I don't have we have actual reports up there of activity yet?
I've gotten, because I worked in that market for a few years. I've gotten a few text messages and people sending me stuff on social media that they've heard reports, nothing confirmed. So that's all I've seen so far. So it kind of similar to what
We've reached out to our friends over at RAL, and said kind of been like, hey, we hear the rumor mill as true as you do. Please let us know when, So we haven't really gotten anything yet. But again, there's probably boots on the ground there. So we're kind of
Yeah.
learning as quickly as they are.
And also remember that X was down. Like a lot of websites
Right.
were down today.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
honestly, that's a big
That's a
source
factor,
of
yeah.
information here, and I think it's been a little bit delayed. But I'll give you another